for that.
We say no, and I mean, it's the
No,
same thing.
this is the quality building.
When we met with Darryl Curl, we asked him to come up with a proposal for access onto the parcel that's currently being
Yeah.
dug.
There's no movement on the enterprise bid or bond for
Progressive.
progressive, sorry.
No, I don't,
Wrong.
I haven't
Wrong
heard,
hole in the ground.
yeah, I have not heard anything from Progressive. I don't know if the commissioners have, but I have not heard anything.
All I can say is they have not moved a piece of rock.
And I believe that
Not
a much of the equipment has disappeared from the
Yeah.
site, so.
Hmm.
I don't know what that means. But
Means they're digging another and digging out.
That's all that knows.
Yeah, cause they talk
Yeah,
definitely
they're
means that.
Because there are certainly a lot of it there.
so there's nothing on the agenda that's an action item. There are a couple of things we did want to talk about. On First Street. This information is about a couple of appraisers. You asked me to try to get them appraisers' costs. There's 2 files there. And an email.
The appraiser cost.
What's that?
You said she asked,
No,
who asked the appraiser cost?
I asked for the appraiser and to get costs, and I sent it to Weston. And I was gonna have him bring it to you yesterday. Evidently that didn't happen. On here, there's 2 different appraisers. They have costs associated with that,
Mhm.
and I would like you to look through those. And next week, we can put that on the agenda to have a decision made about which direction we need to go with those appraisers. Yeah, I just saw that your face, you saw what the prices are.
Well, the difference.
The difference is pretty big.
Yeah.
Weston has looked at them. He believes the first one is probably very well qualified and has much experience with the eminent domain type of thing, and that is reflected in his price. That is not the full cost of what it will be, because we'll still have the right of way negotiator have a cost on top of that to prepare documentation for this. So that is just the appraiser cost, and there's some costs in there that are not enumerated because it's not, it's port cost or prep cost or there's some high dollars per hour costs in there. So please
where
look
is
over
this?
that.
What's the address or where is this? It says the Wagner lot, but I.
It is parcel 9. It is the lot on the north side of First Street. The first one in the county on the north side, east of Tiebreaker.
Oh, okay.
But actually, if you'll add that to the agenda for next week to try to make a decision on the choosing of the appraiser, and then we'll go out and we'll figure out the rest of the estimated cost and make that decision next week.
Done in the past as far as appraisals.
We have got appraisals on some of the other parcels on 45th East. We did on Iona Road. We have, they've been a little bit less than these. Per lot, I think the ones previous on Iona Road were about $2,500 just for the appraisal each.
What are they charging for this one?
$3,000, Iowa $9,000.
So what is it?
The only 2 options in town.
Or have you taken?
Not MIA certified, which is what Weston told me to try to get it.
What is it they're doing to the property? We're taking in some of their frontage, is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're taking frontage along
What,
First Street.
what it cost us for the appraisal over
$3,500.
partially, do they do residential? I know they did 30 years ago, but
If he's certified, what did you call it, MIA certified?
Yeah.
I don't know if he's MIA certified, but I can ask him, yeah.
Is that for the whole project or just like that?
This is for one parcel that's in eminent domain and then the
yeah,
litigation.
it's the whole parcel or just a piece of parcel. I know you asked, I didn't know the answer. So
It's just the strip in front is what we're asking for. I don't recall off the top of my head, but it was like 3 something a square foot. On Iona, we got appraisals for all of them and we reviewed all of those appraisals.
Been paid yet.
He probably hasn't been. There's a number of them that their lenders are being very difficult to work with, and one of the other ones on Iona Road, their lender is going to charge a $1,200 processing fee to do everything else, and I had to give title company authorization that says the county will pay that because the who we're buying the property doesn't think that they need to pay their lender $1,200. It's like, I don't think we need to either, but
Everyone's want the dirt.
and that's just a processing fee. That's,
Yeah, but
it's ridiculous.
because they're making money on the interest rate.
Okay, so if you will keep that material and look through it, we'll have that on the agenda for next Wednesday. Did want to just mention, we'd already talked about it before the meeting, but there is money in the road and bridge budget to do a number of different capital improvement projects. The 5th East, 49th North intersection project is one of those that does have money associated with it. The engineer's estimate right now is just over $1 million. It is out to bid. We will have the bid opening later in the month. There's also Bear Creek, that there is money in the budget if we choose to do that, that we have spending authority to do.
That's so
Even
that
if the
when
Forest
we get
Service,
the money.
but if the, yeah, so again, spending
So we-
authority.
Well, we'll see what she said.
See what
I
she
sent
said.
her a text that we're ready to go to bid.
We're not quite there,
Well-
but we will be is, yeah, we're
Okay.
very close. And I don't want to get the documents at 100% ready to go without making sure that there's money coming. We also we're spending money on First Street from 25th East to Hammond. The way that's looking, it is not gonna happen much this year. We did have money in the budget for that. We also have money that we're spending on 49th North for the engineering design. That is in the budget. We have money in the budget for Iona Road. Right now, we're still finishing up right away. We can't go out to bid without that, all of the right of way taken care of, and there's a few parcels that still are dragging on. And those plans have been ready for over a year, but without the right of way, we can't go out to bid. We're still finishing up Ammon Road. It was supposed to be done last year.
Yeah.
It's not. By the end of April, we should be pretty much wrapping up, but that money will have to be paid to HK as well.
And we're not. Did we-
Project has been so
Did
slow.
we waive the fee for them not getting it done?
No,
No,
Okay, good.
$1,000 a day.
over the winter,
Never know what
$1,000
money
a day.
they get it done.
So,
Not much profit there, $1,000 a day fine for not being done.
all winter long.
Then it was a long winter.
Okay,
So, go ahead, sorry.
all right, go ahead.
I was just wondering what the status of the bridges on county line, if they're,
So that one on County Line, they are supposed to be paving that back next week. So that one is actually in better status than the others. The one on 33rd, there hasn't been a lot done for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And, as far as we can tell, there's not gonna be much done for the next couple weeks. It's even worse for the one on 49th South. That bridge, they haven't poured the slabs. They don't have a date for us to when they're going to pour the slabs. But they are ready to put the slabs on the deck.
When they get them poured.
When they get them poured, but it will be, the crane will be putting those voided slabs on after water's already in the canal. 129th South, they're supposed to be working on the road work, but we haven't heard when they're gonna be paving that back.
okay, thank you.
Our small project out at Holmes and 49th South for that irrigation portion of that. That is wrapping up. We did have a punch list walkthrough with them last week. They should be finishing that up. We're at the right of way acquisition portion of that we'll have to be expending some money for right of way. We did get the appraisals, revised appraisals back on that. They have been adjusted to a point where I think it's not gonna get better than it is. When we have all that documentation ready to go, we'll bring it to you and make sure that you're okay with having those offers sent out to the 3 different parcels on that one. And then hopefully we'll be able to get that wrapped up this summer, go out to bid on it and have that going to maybe even some construction late fall.
So is that the 2 houses that are kitty corner at that intersection?
There's 3 houses. There's the one on the southeast corner, one on the northeast corner, and one on the northwest one.
Okay.
We're still continuing to open roads. Kyle I think he's getting close to starting up Fall Creek, if he hasn't already started. He might have been partway up it. But it's not open yet, because it's still wet. They're continuing work up Dan Creek and towards Brockman. They're making pretty good progress. But they'll soon be to the point where they'll come back around and try to head up through Long Valley and Bone Road to get to Gray's Lake. So. Then the last item I have is, so you sent me some information about that Safe Streets for All, which is what Mike Austin was talking about. I do have a meeting with the city of Ammon with their consultant on that Safe Streets for All thing this afternoon. We'll be talking about some potential projects that we can partner with the city of Ammon and try to apply for some construction dollars.
Which he was hoping for 45th. Help with 45th.
It won't help with 45th that I know of, but maybe they have.
That won't help with
different
the
ideas.
sidewalk down the side separated from the,
I'll see what,
I know it has to be separated to fit in the rules for their bike path and.
yeah, I'm sure that's one of them we're gonna talk about, and whether we can get it to meet the criteria or not, we'll see.
Regards to the Snake River Road. That's our road, no Forest Service. And it's not one we do.
Which Snakes River Road,
The one along through Swan Valley.
which part of Swamp?
One that
The
goes
High
from the
River Road.
bridge
Yeah.
all the way to the
Okay,
damn bridge.
That is our road, yes.
Okay, because there's a couple of sections that suffered some pretty good slides during the winter. And they're regular, we have good sized rocks in the middle of them.
Yeah. And we have pushed off a number of
Folks
different rocks.
stop and roll off if they can, and if they can't, then they call somebody else,
Yeah,
but. Is there room in those sections to maybe put jerseys along the side like we have Palisades Creek, that section that falls off on the road all the time? So that
there's a lot
then
of
the
that.
rock stays
Yeah,
mostly where cause I think those rocks, I think are rolling down, not dropping out in the middle. I'm like,
there's a lot of that that's in that first section from the bridge on up that there is not room.
well, I know, that was
There,
the next
there.
question is, how can we widen that?
You could,
River on one side with the
yeah,
Bureau of Reclamation and Department of Water Resource and all our folks in altering water channels.
that would be very spendy.
And unless it's a Corps of Engineer project.
It would still be very spendy.
It's getting to be a really busy road. Since we
Yeah.
allowed razors to run on the roadways. Wish we'd not do that, but
If you want me to get with some engineers and try to come up with an engineered plan to try to do that, I can't.
well, is that, whose dirt is on the uphill side?
We have prescriptive right of way. And so there is some of
Blasting
that,
to get rid of some
well-
of that. And building retaining walls, it's
yeah.
Yeah,
That's why I
you
said
look
it
down
would be
the road.
very spendy.
40 years from now, that's gonna have to get paved for 25. I mean, it's gonna have, it's gonna get busier, not less busy. And either we designate that as an alternate bike route and make it slow moving vehicles. So that the bike traffic that we're starting to see on Highway 26 has a safe place to go. Or we make it safe for vehicles. We can't do both.
It's barely safe for vehicles.
I know.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many the sheriff's office actually had off the edge. It's when it's challenged because it blocks the road for 5 or 6 hours. There's nowhere. Nowhere to do anything, and it bounces downstream far enough, you can pull it out of the boat ramp. Yeah, put some floats on it. No,
Might be easier.
yeah.
If you want me to
Well,
approach
it's
some
just
engineers about it,
thought for discussion.
that's gonna be,
You know,
Any
especially
minute.
when there's any construction project that thank heavens they let us all know about, so that they know there's gonna be traffic delays through the valley, through Swan Valley on 26. Everybody thinks that. And it becomes,
that's a nightmare.
well, just make it a one-way, so that it's, but I'm just looking down the road, trying to shed some light on some things that,
We can get that back to them some later.
yeah, we're probably not gonna get it developed.
It's a good hit.
Okay. Tracy said she'll check. Which means she will. We'll let you know later.
Blair, did you have anything?
I did have a couple of things. So back with the last commission, well, mostly Roger, I talked to him about making a couple of adjustments to two of the waste tech positions at the hatch pit, moving them up to equipment operators. So his guidance then was to visit with Ron and make sure that there was enough funds in the personnel. But it would be the AE budget, I guess.
It'd be the-
And he indicated that there was plenty of money there to make those changes. It was about $4,600 and some change for each position. We started back then when they were full to it then. We started the training and those two people have moved up to the point where we would like to make those adjustments. But I need some guidance from you guys as far as how you'd like that. Would you like me to get some type of an email from Ron? Would you guys like to talk to Ron? Make sure the funds are there and then we'll bring it to you in a formal request.
Would be a PAF.
Yeah, but I mean, you know,
Yeah,
Their HR.
and the position, are we changing that position to this position, or are we creating this new position, or do you have that new position and it's not
it would
filled?
be, it would just, there'd be no net gain. We'd just take.
No net gain of employees.
Okay.
But
Number
you
of
wouldn't-
positions.
You wouldn't have waste techs
They'd
in
be
those
off.
positions, that'd be waste or solid waste operators.
Okay.
So
Check with Ruby to see how she needs to do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
she'll have to
We had her
create.
in here earlier.
position.
Yeah, we talked to her a little bit about it back then as well, and she'll have to create, position control numbers for those, and it'll just be she'll eliminate the two waste techs and just create two more operators.
That's where she can just step across. Oh, well, I can walk over there. I thought you had some magic thing on your phone.
Magic thing.
I sent you a text. with
Well,
the
there's all kinds of magic. I know
There
that.
you go. And the other thing was, just to let you guys know that we did talk to SSI and they have put in the orders for that equipment.
So.
And so we should see a 35% invoice for that. That'll be coming eventually. I thought he would have here by
Well, I'll
now.
get that to Michael's.
But I asked him to make sure that that did not.
But I was just noticing
You
as
know,
I
get
went
it
through
through.
that.
He
that
said,
both
"Well,
of
that's
those
fine.
were
We'll get it ordered and get it
Utah,
started."
so I don't know if they've really done any work up here.
Also,
Maybe
one
they
of the we'll see some type of invoice for that first 35% of that.
Does this work?
Yeah.
Hello, young man. I was gonna stop by, but as long as you're here, we can talk. So back with the commission prior to these fine gentlemen and lady, we talked to Roger about changing those two waste tech positions at the hatch pit to operator positions. And in you and I's conversation back and forth, you said that if we went down that road, you would have to create two more position control numbers, I guess.
Mhm.
Okay.
So what would happen is if you're saying, okay, we're gonna give up two positions here.
Yeah.
And add them here, then really what we do is I have to, now instead of. Is it operators? Is that what you said?
Yes,
Instead of
that's
21 operators, we're gonna have then position control number 22 and 23.
Yeah.
And then inactivate.
Yeah.
Two over there, once that happens. And just knowing that if they're different grades, you had the budget to offset them and going forward that that's supported.
So I didn't lead you astray.
So we need to do it.
And then just, I know that this is, what we try to do too is, in order to keep the integrity of the numbering, when we would inactivate those, ones in the waste text, we try to inactivate the highest numbers so that we can still keep the sequence. So that might just be internally, we move.
Yes.
Around to be able to do that, but we'll do pass to help make, so that there's documentation of who's going where.
Right.
Yeah.
And you'll make those adjustments.
What I would do is, once we figure out which ones need to be inactivated, then I'll do personnel actions to move whoever, so we can get the sequencing right,
Okay.
if that makes
And all this
sense.
change is approved by us, is it? Well, there's the previous board, it's an action item, on their agenda to do it. Make
Well,
the
the-
changes, it's just administrative stuff.
I don't know if there was ever, that just,
Well, there was a discussion, because
There
it's
was
there. for it.
discussion,
They
but I
said,
think there was
yeah, do this. I don't know that it is.
It should just be administrative, as long as the budget's
Trying to
there.
make sure I don't
Yeah, it never,
step out of the rules.
it never got past just a discussion, you know, that initial discussion. And then I think it kind of moved over to a email back and forth between HR and I think Penny got involved for just a second and then Ron, I
Let's make
was
sure
under
there's
the
money.
understanding that Roger had talked to Ron about it to make sure that the funds were there, but then after I had did a little more investigating into it, Ron said that he had never talked to Roger about it. Roger told me to have Ron send just a quick email showing what the increase would be and if there was sufficient funds to.
Well, we can also do that as an attachment to the PAF as well.
Well, and normally what I would get is I just have to have some sort of approval and those would come when the budget stuff all takes place. After everything's approved, then Kenny provides me with a whole list of all of the position changes, whether there's new ones, whether there's changes like this, that's what been approved and what needs to be inactivated so that we can get all of it. So we'll be ready to move people into it. And when this came about, I just didn't have any documentation that anything had been approved in the budget to make those changes. So I just had to have some sort of authorization.
But we have the money in the budget, we have budgetary authority to spend the money in the budget. And he's gone through the process of getting his folks trained so that we can make the change. I don't want to wait until the next budget to make the change because we have the money and we have the authority, so whatever we need to do to make the change.
I think it's really coming through, making sure Ron knows, you know, that Penny and Chris, that everybody is on the same page of knowing what's
Everybody on
happening.
the same email,
It's just,
well,
myself, you and Penny.
I think so.
yeah,
And
But I don't think there was, and then I think that was pretty vague as far as I just, basically Ruby stated that she hadn't been given the authority to create the position codes.
Yeah.
And so that it kind of got lost in translation and then
got lost in the
they
election.
left.
So
They left.
And when you do the position or the personnel action forms, really, if you're indicating that, you know, from whatever meeting, it was approved to
Right.
make this change or whatever.
It is a promotion.
But do
It
you, in order to make sure that those personnel action forms are done correctly, do you want us to do them together? Do you want to create them so they're done the way they need to be in order to make those position controls under changes, or how would you like to?
I think what we should do is, even Ashli, if you've got whatever minutes or whatever, even if you're just looping all of us in to say, okay, here's what was approved.
These are
Then that-
groups that's in for this meeting.
Yep, and then that would give me whatever authority
We
to
had a habit
create
of
them.
not having Ashley in our meetings when we talk
Yeah.
about this stuff, which,
Yeah.
or Caleb. back then.
Yep, and then as soon as I get that approval, I can create the numbers, then I can let you know what are the new numbers so that you'll know what to put on the paths to be able to
So
send.
does that need to be an action item, or just they have to say?
Right now, it's just direction. The action comes through the PAF.
Okay,
Get the PF.
so get the
Well, that-
PAs done and get that all.
Yeah.
coordinated.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I just have to have the authorization to create the numbers for him to be able to put the numbers on the path.
Authorization.
That's what I'm saying, just from you guys making
Okay.
your vote and Ashley's giving me something saying this has been authorized.
Okay,
All right.
Then I've got a paper trail to put with my budget stuff and my position control. Like all of that changes.
Perfect. That would be great.
Okay.
Can we just
When are they
text
going
you
to
a thumbs up?
well, that'll be coming, that doesn't, this doesn't,
No, I'm just
Okay.
saying, when are you guys
make
gonna
it clear,
start?
we're not waiting for
sending
that to
out?
happen, for this to happen.
Yeah,
So,
no. Are you gonna start that fairly soon?
Yes.
to Next year?
Next month, probably.
Yep,
Next month, probably.
Before Memorial Day.
It's usually May.
Yeah, because it seems like right now we're billing one of your waste techs and it seems like you still have the
doing
two.
something on my anniversary,
Because it seemed like you had 3 waste tech positions.
22nd.
So let's do it for one right now.
Yeah.
So-
Elections.
So maybe I need to look at those.
Oh, I'll be here for
We
it.
fill both of those positions.
Maybe I'll be
We
late.
may send in a different task with a different, or request for personnel with a different, yeah, with the dog position code numbers. So we have, so if you have, if we fill the two, we need to send you another request.
So that's the other part right now is if we're recruiting for your waste tech, we have to make sure that we're not overfilling there, because if we're taking two of those away to move over to here, that we're only backfilling,
Oh, yeah, no,
so.
yeah, no,
That's the
this
other
would,
piece.
this would just be a swap, basically, with no net gain.
Okay.
I can put it in paper.
And
What's
Gotta
that?
make all the numbers. come.
Well, that's why I was asking about next, when we're gonna start next year, because I have quite a list.
You should still be gloating over the fact that you got such an easy pass on your last meeting with us.
I know, I'm telling you what, I went home and bought a lottery ticket. Dollars, and here we go. We're on. No, we appreciate everything you guys have done, and, you know, we probably didn't thank the last commissioners as much as we should have, but it's been a great couple of years, and Lance has made that happen as well as you guys supporting that. So it has been a great couple of years, so we really appreciate your interest in making sure we've got what we need to. Hopefully we can. keep
It's nice
pressing
to have somebody
forward.
say thanks once in a while.
Yep, oh, it's been good. Yep,
Okay,
I'll be stopping. I
Thank you.
think you answered my question, so I won't stop by now. And then you see my email with Lance about the.
Sorry to pull
No,
you
she
around.
did, but I sent it to her.
Yeah.
And then I think we'll need to talk briefly
Okay.
about that.
Sounds good.
Sorry to pull you on announced, but it seemed like better than waiting a week. Or we
That's just fine.
The paper shuffle back and forth to get that. Announced there to be- Lisa
Absolutely.
Burdenshaw texted
Thank you.
Michelle last week and said that the canopy for the fueling station is ready to go out for bid. Just so you know where we are.
Okay, well, that's helpful to know, because Pam doesn't tell me much.
Yeah, well, and Lisa hadn't conveyed any information for quite some time. Michelle reached out to her. I haven't updated you. Since,
That's good.
Little
I mean,
progress.
we gave information back quite a while ago.
yeah,
So hopefully it actually does go out to bid.
Blair, I got requested about garbage truck or dump truck or something for the fair in August.
right. Usually,
They said you provided that.
for the county,
No, I haven't
our
county
county
fair.
fair,
Oh, for the county.
yeah,
Yeah.
taking them something to. So they can,
All trash every day up to the,
We didn't provide that. Who provided that? Dump it or? Somebody put it out there. We just, allowed them free disposal.
so
basically.
oh,
somebody
It
brought a
wasn't our
dumpster
truck.
out.
it wasn't
Yeah,
our
it seemed
truck.
like
I don't
that's what
think
they
so.
did it.
I don't think it was our truck.
It wasn't me.
Was it Dumpets?
I'm not sure. I didn't get involved with
Brian,
who actually.
Yeah,
Well,
well, I think
did all that. I'm not sure how he did that, but it was,
I know how to find out what he did.
that's good. We just allowed
Call
them, I
Brian,
think,
ask him
free
if he did it.
disposal for that week or,
Okay.
you know, for that can, I think. But
Okay,
that was the part that the.
I'll
Which
check.
is. The other discussion that usually Parks and Rec. Has let. The fair use their. Arena greener.
Okay.
Rake thing. And that would start with asking. The fair guys if they need that
okay.
and asking PJ if.
Are you?
Oh, it's the city's greener,
it's
not
the-
our guy.
no, it's the cities. And they were, in fact, they found,
Evidently.
they had
Yeah.
like 3 of them. And they were gonna
He
sell
got-
one, and
he
I
got
think they
saddled with
may have
that.
sold us.
Literally.
Like, he does that. And it's like, what it cost him to bring it in from the racetrack, but that's the one thing that, and that will usually, if you don't mention it, it will come up the day before the fair. So,
So arena groomer, okay.
So you're going to be the commissioner over the fair? So,
He
yeah,
is.
anything that we.
He
can
is.
do- He is,
Is,
anything that we can do to help, I mean, obviously we will, we've had some small projects for them in the past.
Some gravel.
Anything that you need,
Done some gravel.
definitely.
And haul away.
And hauled away a bunch of dirt.
Get a permit for that.
Did I get a permit for that? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was approved by the county.
It was our gravel.
It was from our gravel.
We're
pit
just
there.
giving you a hard.
Insider trading.
It was approved by the county. We must have left you out.
So what you're saying is that, are we through recording?
No,
Yep.
I don't have anything now, and I think we're done.